Hey guys, how you going? Todd here from Off-Road Crusader, making a cuppa, as you've already seen. And look, you've seen the thumbnail to this video. This is a bit of a rundown of the last 5 years of my life, and how standing in front of a camera has slowly become more a part of it. I get to come out here and do stuff like this, which is work. I don't treat it as just a holiday, but it's pretty neat, you know. It's like that saying, you know, you find what you love doing and you never work a day in your life. This is a very far cry from when I first started Off-Road Crusader, well, Prado 120 Adventures back then. You will be able to see that my setup, my camping setup, my four-wheel driving setup was very different back then to what it is now. And it just makes me feel very grateful and very, I suppose, humble that things evolve, and when you put time and effort into it, you can make parts of your life better. And a big part of my life is camping and four-wheel driving, and I've made it as good as I think it can be. Still a few tweaks that we're going to do over time, but I'm pretty happy with how it is now, especially being able to make a couple like this is just fantastic. So a bit of a rundown on my YouTube half tenure. I started back in May 2018. That was when my first video went up. I did a video called Sandblasting to Sunset, which was, I was learning a lot. I will put a link up there somewhere where you can watch it and you can see the thumbnail, and I'd love for you to go back and give it a watch and then comment on it and tell me if I've gotten any better. But yeah, that's the first one I did. I basically wanted to, I suppose, document, show off, and see what it was like to create my own content, create videos, and you know, show off that sort of stuff. A lot of my inspiration were people like Ronnie Dahl, Intense Off-Road, Mighty Car Mods as well was a big one. I'd been watching Mighty Car Mods since their beginning. I was one of the OGs. I'm sure everyone says that, and yeah, it wasn't just to document it for myself. It was also for my family and friends who were interested in what I got up to. At that time, I was doing event coordination for a Facebook group for Prados, WA Prado. So shout out to the WA Prado crew. And I was doing all the events for them. And a lot of people were like, oh, you know, what's it like? And can I come along? And how hardcore is it? And all that sort of stuff. And sometimes instead of writing a paragraph, it's easy to go, look, here's a short 5-minute video of our trip. What do you reckon? So yeah, that was fun. Doing YouTube and filming has taught me a lot about photography, videography, setting up scenes, you know, sort of having a bit of a storyboard in my head of the video I want to create, and then in real time, altering and adjusting that and taking shots and what works, what doesn't, and basically adapting and then getting to the end of it and having a huge pile of video files, and then compiling it into a finished video, which I was really happy to watch, and to be honest, other people did as well. When I brought out my very first video, I still remember sitting at a family friend's house. I'd literally uploaded the video like an hour before. I had like 2 views. I had 1 subscriber, which I think was me. And yeah, everyone around the table subscribed, everyone watched the video, everyone left a comment, and it was just a fantastic feeling to watch my subs go from 1 to, I think it was about 4. And the views to go up to, I think it was about 12 or something like that at the time. But it was a pretty impressive feeling, and it inspired me to keep moving forward. One big thing I always wanted to do was create DIY how-to videos for four-wheel drives, for the Prados, and especially the Prado 120 series with the 1KZ, the best of them all. Because there wasn't a huge amount out there. What I could find, there is another guy who makes a lot of mechanical videos, but I wasn't a huge fan of his style, and I thought, you know what, rather than sit there and complain about what someone else does, how about I give it a go myself and see if I can do any better. So I put out some videos of how to do some basic modifications, doing some maintenance to the car, adding some accessories, that sort of stuff. One thing that I really wanted to do with the channel, Prado 120 Adventures, was to, I suppose, create more of the content that I enjoyed watching that wasn't around anymore, or perhaps it didn't cover the topics I wanted to watch, that sort of stuff. And I thought, well, you know, let's give it a go myself and see what I can do. A big one of those was, and a lot of you guys will remember, four-wheel drive action, back when they were called that. When you got the DVDs with the magazines, there would be obviously their showpiece of what they're doing. And every now and then they'd cut off to do ads for Tigers 11 or MDC campers or whatever it was at the time. But they'd also have these little, I forget what they were called now, I'll put the name up here somewhere. But they were basically tiny little like showcases of someone's car. They had a viewer who had an awesome four-wheel drive. They'd done a bunch of modifications and accessories to it. and they showed it off, and they did a really good job of making the videos really concise, and you know, there was very little filler in them, and it was really good to see, because you could see these other people who were absolute normal Joe Blows like you and I, who were building four-wheel drives, and it got to show off some of their custom stuff, which was pretty wicked. And I thought, we need some more of that around. There are a number of channels who make rig rundown videos. You've got, you know, people like Sam Isles, you've got Modified by Ronnie Dale, there's a few others as well. But they're feature-length videos, you know, they're 40, 50, 60-minute long, and sometimes they do 2 different episodes on them. Whereas I wanted something that was much more concise. You could sit down and watch it if you wanted to find all the information, or it was easy enough to skip through and just see a wicked four-wheel drive and hopefully give yourself some inspiration. So that kicked off in Queensland actually while I was on holiday. I ended up filming a lovely gentleman with an awesome supercharged V6 Prado with a bunch of cool work to it. That was awesome. And that kicked off the Flash Forbies subsection of the channel, which has actually done really well, and I'm really keen to go out and see some more four-wheel drives. It is more focusing on people who've done custom stuff and made a individual four-wheel drive that they use. It's not just a case of, I just want to film people who've thrown 100K at a car and only use it once a year. It was like, no, I want to do something where it's interesting, and you know, it's a very unique four-wheel drive. So that was the whole premise behind Flash Forbies. And after I'd done a few of those, I also ended up doing some review videos as well, just on like gear that I had a lot of questions that people would ask me about, accessories that I fitted. The big one I had at the time was on my 120 series Prado. I had some Angel Eye headlights, replacement headlights that I'd fitted. They weren't great. They were pretty good, but they had a lot of modification that needed doing, and basically a lot of people asked about them, and rather than copy and pasting the same blurb every single time on a Facebook comment, I decided that I'd do a bit of a video about it, and that sort of kicked off doing the Todd review segments as well, just showing off some gear that I like, something that I've fitted, some things I don't like, and just giving some honest feedback to you guys as well. For those that follow me on the socials, this is Roscoe. This is my new little puppy. He's what's he now? About 4 months old. What's he? He's Ridgeback, Mastiff, Staffy, bit of a bitzer. Absolutely beautiful dog. Really love him. He's getting used to the bush and being able to cruise around. He's actually really, really good, but I just don't want him running off. Not quite yet. Got my tripod in a river right now, so I'm keeping an eye on it. If you see me jump up really rapidly, that's why. So where were we up to? The name change. Initially the channel was called Prado 120 Adventures because it was a Prado 120 and having adventures with it, which was pretty much a very good summary of the channel. But as time went on, I made more and more videos. I found it to be a little bit more of a pigeonhole to the channel and to my content. I wanted to create more content, different content, and get a wider audience as well, to reach out to some different people and get them to watch some of the videos. And that just wasn't happening unless people specifically search for 120 series Prado, Prado 120 Adventures, whatever you want to call it. And I decided that it needed a name change. It needed to evolve because it felt like a side project that had become bigger than its initial scope and needed a bit of a revamp. So that's where I came up with the name of Off-Road Crusader. Changing the name really helped to, I suppose, broaden my horizons as well. Suddenly I wasn't pigeonholed to Prados, I wasn't pigeonholed to Adventures, I wasn't pigeonholed to 120 series either, and I could basically anything off-road and crusading as well. That was an interesting word that took a little while to brainstorm, and it basically meant that you're sort of moving forward towards a goal. You've got a vision of something larger than yourself, and you want to work towards that. And there's the whole medieval crusader sort of thing, and chivalry and all that sort of stuff. But it's also a case of like fighting for good, fighting to create good content, responsible content that is obviously promoting good values for families and for individuals and for groups to get out and enjoy this off-road lifestyle that we all know and love. And so yeah, that was all a part of it. The rebrand was very fun to play around with some different things, and yeah, this is where we are right now. And the other chapter I wanted to talk about as well is the Prado 120 series rundown. My own showcase video of my own car, which was pretty cool to do. Obviously viewers of the channel, people who'd followed me on social media, they knew about the car, they knew about bits and pieces, but there wasn't really a concise and I suppose singular place to give all that information out. And this is a really good way to do it. So I think I spent about 4 or 5 hours filming to get different shots and to include different things that I wanted to do. I had a list of about 4 or 5 different pages of accessories and reasons and modifications that I'd done that I wanted to go through, and it took me a long time to get there, but we got there. So if you want to have a watch of that, there'll be a thumbnail up there, and there'll be a link as well. So look, give that a watch, tell me what you think, because that was my car, that was my dream car, and that's basically the vision of what I turned it into. And then of course there was the biggest upgrade, which was to one of these bad boys. This is a 200 series Land Cruiser. I had been dreaming about one of these cars for a very long time. V8 turbo, twin turbo diesel, lots of power, lots of torque, lots of space, very capable 4-wheel drive, lots of new mod cons and luxuries, which is also a big thing of getting a new car. And it was a very far cry from the Prado. Look, there's a number of reasons I went for one of these, and a lot of weight of most of those reasons were personal. I really wanted this car, and if you're going to upgrade your car and go for things, there's a bunch of sort of practical reasons that you can look at to do different things, and more often than not, heart wins over head. It's just the way we are as humans. And look, I ended up, we saved very hard, we worked very hard, and I was able to get my dream car, which was fantastic. The Prado had nearly 500,000 Ks on it. It had a bunch of bits and pieces that I suppose were becoming larger and larger issues, or would be larger and larger jobs to fix. And it wasn't the case of it was a catastrophe waiting to happen and I had to offload it, but it was more a case of, look, I could see down the future, if I keep this car for another 3, 4, 5 years, it's going to cost me more money than the car's worth. So I made the decision to sell it and to upgrade. And I suppose once I got the 200 series, it changed a lot of my viewpoints, because all of a sudden I had a modern car. With the 120 series Prado, it was a bit of an older car. It didn't have a huge following. Well, had a pretty big following for what it was, but not compared to some of the more mainstream four-wheel drives, especially in Australia. And I had previously reached out to different companies or for either sponsorship or support for the channel, and because that was a fairly small channel, and because the car wasn't exactly something that would give that company a lot of return, not a lot really happened. But once I got the 200 series, I had a bit more of a following. Yeah, look, things started to happen, and I don't want to say I made advantage of it, but I used opportunities and wanted to grow the channel as best I could. A bunch of channels got on board to build my new 200 series. The car already had a bunch of accessories on it. Look, there's a video if you want to watch all that. That'll be up. I always forget which corner it is. That corner up there. If you want to watch that and see what it was like when I first got the 200 series. But look, a number of companies. You had Bush Ranger, you had K-On, iTech World. There were a few other companies that sort of came on board and wanted to help out the channel and to promote and push it forward. So I was really, really grateful for all that, and it was really humbling to go through that process. And yeah, in the end, I ended up building an awesome 200 series that I could go out and enjoy, and it gave me a lot of products and things that I could use to create more content, to help more viewers out, and to hopefully bring a few of my older viewers across to the rebrand and to the upgraded car. So yeah, it was fantastic, and I was really, really enjoying the 200 series build. I still maintain this is one of the best mods I've ever done. Go to the alley cab. Yes, I've had to write things down. It's probably the easy way to do it when you're filming, especially when you got to recall a lot of facts and stuff like that. So sorry if you see a book. Doesn't mean it's any less genuine. So we started on the 200 series build. We ended up doing a big DIY draw system series. It was, I think, about 5 videos long. And then I did a sort of summary, and then we did I suppose a 6-month review and like, you know, what we need to change and what we do differently and updating some things. And that's all just part of the process, but it was an interesting one, and a lot of people got behind it, and I was really, really thankful for that. Showed off some ideas that I'd either had myself or I'd been inspired by other people. And yeah, look, it was fantastic. Really, really happy with how the draws came out. It is just a really good set and forget system, and it's nice just to know that I can just jump in the car and go anytime. And I'm pretty much set up, ready to go camping, overlanding, exploring, whatever you want to do. It's all sitting there ready to go, which and I've made it myself, which is always a nice feeling as well. I've also been fortunate enough to work with Survival First Aid Kits. They are a company who makes some really good quality first aid kits for a bunch of different scenarios, a bunch of different situations where you do need a first aid kit. And we ended up coming together, and they're supporting the channel out, and I'm making a off-road first aid series on first aid out in the bush. For those that don't know, I'm actually a qualified paramedic. Did all my training and decided I'd rather just hang out in the bush by myself, but I've still got knowledge and some experience that I can pass on to hopefully help educate you guys a little bit better as well, and make you better equipped to deal with those emergency situations. So we've started off with that. It has sort of taken a bit of a back seat. Things happen in life, and you know, we move forward. So luckily I'm my own boss, so I only have to apologize to myself, which is fair enough. And then of course was probably one of the scariest days of my life, and the worst day for the channel, which was the day that my 200 series went up in smoke. I don't want to get too much into it, but it was a pretty big chapter for the channel. You'll check up there. You'll see the link and the thumbnail there for a bit of a rundown of what happened. But essentially, an electrical fire caused the car to be written off by insurance. It was a saga to get things finalized, just because it fell into a really niche, I suppose, insurance compartment. And yeah, I had some people who were involved who weren't very helpful. Anyway, we got on with it. Unfortunately, my pride and joy had to go to the wreckers. And yeah, once I finally did get through with insurance and they paid me out, I bought another one. I loved them that much, I got another one. And look, this one has a bunch of little quirks. It has some things we need to fix, because in my mind, this is still the ultimate four-wheel drive. It's the ultimate vehicle to modify, drive, explore tracks, do tough stuff, do easy stuff, find some wicked campsites, do thousands of kilometers of bitumen, whatever you want to do. Even do the weekly shop and drop the kids off at daycare, which I do every day. It's fantastic, and I absolutely love this vehicle. So it was a bit of a no-brainer to come back and build another one. And look, I'm super happy. I'm really, really enjoying it so far. Nearly, well, I want to say that I've just about finished doing all the mods to it, but you guys know me better than that. And you know, four-wheel drive's better than that as well. So we are in the saga, and this is where we're up to now, and I'm really happy with how it's all going. So just a bit about the channel and about my life as a YouTuber for the last 5 years. Obviously, when I started, it was very much a bit of a passion project, of something just to give a go, film where I can, learn how to do things and upload. And I really didn't have any expectations for it. Well, I had hopes and dreams to become big and famous, but that I didn't really have anything to, I suppose, hold myself accountable for, which, looking back, was a really good way to do it, rather than going into it and saying, I'm going to turn this into a business in 5 years. I just went into it, let's just see what happens, because worst case scenario, nothing takes off. I've lost no nose off my skin, so Jesus Christ. I've lost no skin off my nose. So some stats for you. This is where I get my book out, because I've actually written some numbers down, and as good as I am, I'm not that good. Over the lifetime of the channel, so full 5 years, I have gotten, well, at this moment, 715,000 views on all of my videos, which is a huge number. I know there's some kid who just opened boxes of toys and he gets that many views in an hour, but for me, that's fantastic. And it's a really awesome number. And I'm very, very proud of that. 55,000 watch hours. 55,000 hours of viewing on my channel that you guys have done, which is fantastic. That's 6.28 years of continuous viewing. So if you behind that screen, if you were to watch my videos for 6.28 years, that's how much viewing I've had on the channel, you know, in total, which is amazing. 7,050 subscribers. That's been fantastic. That's about anywhere between about 3.5 to 4 subscribers per day at the moment. And the growth of subscribers, which is usually the metric most people use to watch a channel grow, has been fairly, well, when you look at it over the year, has been very linear. There hasn't been a lot of peaks and troughs. It's been fairly linear, which in my book is great. I'm really happy with how that's going. I know there'll be people who make a channel and with 5 years, they're 3 times the size of what I'm doing, but I'm sure they have massive peaks and massive troughs. And for me to have really sustainable growth, which is what I'm really about, it's fantastic. I'm really, really happy with it. 18% of my viewers are subscribers. This number, YouTubers will understand, and I suppose will have a bit more gravitas about of what it means. But essentially, for every 10 views on my channel, nearly 2 of them are from subscribers, and that's a fantastic number. I'd love to grow that. I'd love to get more subscribers involved. I'd love to get more people returning to the channel and to be subscribed and invested in it. But look, you guys are the viewers and you love watching my stuff, and I'm really, really grateful for what you guys do for the channel. So who watches the channel? It is 99% male. Surprise. That 1% are females. How you doing? I'm married, sorry, but look, thanks for coming along. And for the 99% of you blokes, fantastic, great to have you with me. The biggest age bracket I have who watch the channel, between 25 and 45 years old, which I believe is the sweet spot of people who are interested in what I do and interested in four-wheel driving and exploring and doing all that sort of stuff. Getting out and I suppose tackling harder tracks, getting to some campsites like this one here, which you definitely do need low range and, you know, a four-wheel drive to get to. Whereas I suppose an older audience may not be too interested in that. And a younger audience, well, they're all watching, I don't know, people play Fortnite and Minecraft and that sort of stuff. So look, that's pretty fantastic for me. My top 3 videos. These are videos which over that 5 years have been the biggest performers. Harvey Dam. I took a bunch of people from the WA Prado group to Harvey Dam, back when you could. And we did a four-wheel drive trip there. That was fantastic. It wasn't a lot of stuff to camera. It was mostly action shots of Prados doing all stuff that Prados do. That's got 62,000 views right now. The front end overhaul. So on the Prado, I've pulled all the front suspension and components apart and rebuilt them to be better, stronger, and basically to future-proof it for down the track. That's got 58,000 views. And the last one was getting more power and performance out of your 1KZ TE turbo diesel engine, which was the absolute pearler of an engine that was in my Prado. That had 43,000 views. And those are the sort of videos that are continuously doing well on my channel. And even from looking at that, there's nothing too consistent. Yes, they're all Prado based, but it's not just adventure videos. It's not just DIY. It's not just advice. It's those 3 different videos that are doing really well. And once you start working your way down the list out to top 5 or top 10, again, it's very varied. There's not too much singularity of type of video that does the best on my channel. And that sort of promotes me to keep making different content and to keep doing different things, because everyone loves watching different stuff. And I suppose it also tells people a lot more about me, my channel, my content I create, and I suppose my views and my four-wheel driving. So yeah, that's what I'm going to continue to do. Now this is a big one, and I suppose if you're going to take away something from my channel, if you're a viewer, you've been here a while, you know this already. I had a company approach me to work together, and this was a question they brought up, and it's fair from their end, and it sort of summarized a lot of things about my channel. And it was basically, look, the last 10 or 12 videos, I think they said, you've put out, they haven't taken off, they haven't become viral, they're not really in views day in, day out. You've been very consistent in that. And why do you think it is that your videos aren't reaching 10 or 20,000 views in the first few days? And it really made me think. I mean, at first, my first instinct was, oh, they're having a bit of a dig at me or something, you know, saying my videos aren't good enough. But really, it was the case of the videos I create and the content I create is not viral. It's not something that grabs these short attention spans of a lot of young viewers and people who are viewing the YouTube. It's not something which is really snappy. It is very short term. The videos I make are long term, and they're videos which will continue to be relevant and interesting and of value for years and years to come. I have tried very few times to make videos which are short and snappy and are there to grab attention and blow up on TikTok and get millions of views, and then they just disappear into nothing. But that's not what my channel's about, and that's not the sort of viewers I want as well. My viewers, my subscribers, are people who constantly comment on my channel, who've messaged me and give me feedback on my videos, are absolutely fantastic people. They are genuine, they are down to earth, and they stop and smell the roses. And I think if I was making videos about doing burnouts and fitting a turbo barra to a GQ patrol and lighting trees on fire in national parks, I don't attract those sorts of people. And to be honest, I would rather have less views and less subscribers but have better engagement with my viewers, as opposed to the opposite, where I've just put out random videos, all the 16-year-olds tag all the other 16-year-olds and they watch it, and then in a week I'm you know, replaced by the next guy. So I haven't had a huge bump. You can go to sites like Social Blade. I'm sure there's others as well, but Social Blade's the main one I know. And they basically compile a lot of data about YouTube channels. And you can see things like the growth of my channel. You can see subscribers over time, views over time, that sort of stuff. And you will note that it is very consistent and very reliable, because of the stuff that I make. It is going to be valuable, and it is going to be relevant, and it is going to provide people with knowledge and with insight and with value for years to come, and it isn't going to diminish over time, which is fantastic. And that's what I really, really want. That's where a lot of the inspiration I've gotten from channels, big one being Mighty Car Mods. You go back to a lot of their earlier stuff, it is still very entertaining and educational, and it's great to watch. And even though it was made 10 years ago and all of their new stuff has moved on and has become better, and like the stuff they make is fantastic, the old stuff's still relevant and still great to watch. Whereas some channels you go to, which are big now, you go to watch some of their earlier stuff and it's not as good. It's just faded into the complete background of existence, is no longer relevant and no longer something that personally I enjoy watching. So the channel will continue to grow. I really do hope for a break. I hope to get onto something like a four-wheel drive adventure show, or I don't know, get invited to a TV show or whatever it may be. And yeah, everything just takes off from there. But until that happens, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. I'm not put off by the fact that I'm not reaching 1 million people every week. I'm just really enjoy what I do, and I'm going to continue to do it. Bit of a different perspective now. Hey Roscoe. So look, thank you very much for watching this video. I wanted to go through some, I suppose, goals of where I'd like to be in 5 years' time. When I see you guys next for a video like this, we're looking at 10 years on YouTube, which is pretty impressive. And by that time, I'd like the channel to basically have gone next level and moving to still doing what I like doing, but I'd like to be doing it full time, to be honest. I really enjoy making YouTube videos, and I want to continue to do that, and I'd love for it to be a part of my life that I can do full time. So that's basically where I'm trying to get to. In 5 years time, I reckon 20,000 subscribers I'd really like, which is more than double of what I've got now. So if I'm following that linear progression, something needs to bump up from there. And I think a increase in my video quality, probably keeping an eye out for some other opportunities as well. Basically, I want to get there, and I want that goal to be higher than where I'm already aiming for. So let's go. 20,000 subscribers by, geez, what'll that be? That's 2028. I'll be a hologram by then, I'm sure. Something I'm really cautious about, and something I want to keep in mind, is not selling out. I don't really want to get behind like a big brand, become a part of a company or something like that, where I lose all of my individuality. Off-Road Crusader is always going to be Off-Road Crusader, and I don't want it to be a subset of a, I don't know, say like a TV channel or a camping department store or something like that. I just want it to be me, and I want to grow it and make it into something. I'd love for some other companies to get behind me and support my channel, but I don't want to give away my individuality, I suppose it is, because I've seen it happen to some other people in the industry, especially people who are local to around here in WA. And to be honest, it's a little bit sad to see people sell out, but I can't, I'm not in their shoes, so I don't know, but that's something that I'm going to be cautious of going forward. I'd also really like to be able to support my family by doing this too. So obviously me getting out and filming and editing videos and doing stuff on YouTube, yes, it pays money, and I would like for that to, I suppose, be able to support my family with. It is a pretty big ask, because from where I am now to to where that's going to be is a big jump, but there are a lot of ways to supplement income with creating content, and I just want to be able to do that in the most genuine way possible. And I suppose I also want to branch out into different modes or different ways of exploring and enjoying the bush. I'd love to do some hiking. I'd really like to do some hiking videos. I'd love to do some mountain biking as well, even some adventure biking with dirt bikes, that sort of stuff. That'd be fantastic. Unfortunately, I just don't have the financial backing, the capital, the ability to be able to do that sort of stuff right now. Adventure biking I'm talking about, but even branching out into something like getting a mountain bike and doing all that, that costs money and other things, so that will come down the track, but I'll keep doing what I'm doing because I'm really enjoying it. So look, if I had a drink, I'd raise it, but yeah, cheers to 5 years on YouTube. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I'm really happy with where I am right now, and I've got some big plans for the future, and I'd really love for you guys to come along and join the ride with me and see where this ends up, because I'm really excited, and I really hope you guys are too. So thank you very much for watching this video. Obviously your support, your viewership, and everything you guys do for the channel, it means a huge amount. I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing today without you guys. If you want to support the channel, definitely subscribe. It makes a huge difference behind the scenes for how YouTube manages my channel and gets the name out. Look at something like Patreon if it's going to work for you, which is a much more direct way to support the channel, support me, by coming on as a patron. And yeah, look, the people who do support me, it goes a long way, and I do my best to try and give back to those sort of people, because obviously they're going out of their way to help me, and I want to be able to give back and support them as best I can as well. The other way is also merchandise. So you're seeing me wearing one of these awesome Off-Road Crusader shirts. I have shirts, I have stickers, I have patches. I've got mugs as well, which I make too, and looking at some other stuff as well. So if you want to get involved with that, there's a link on my Instagram bio to my merch page, and you can check out some stuff there if you want to go down that track. So do look into it, and I really hope that I'm something worth supporting as well. If you think so, just have a look is all I ask, and even if it's grabbing a $5 patch, it goes a long way, and it's really motivating to get me out and making more of these videos. So thank you very much again. I can close my book now because I've gone through all my points, and I will catch you next time on Off-Road Crusader. Cheers.